Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Andrea, the Fearless Love Coach, and today we've got someone amazing. This is Granville Cousins.
Hi.
So we're just going to be looking at his phone. We're going to just share it on his timeline. So today we're discussing, does yoga heal your heart? Now, a lot of you women are coming to me, you're single or in a relationship, but mainly single. And if you want to just press share. Hi, just say hi, let us know who you are. Share now to public. And so, yeah, does yoga heal your heart? So if you're single or even if you're in a relationship, what I've discovered a lot with women who come to see me who want to be in a relationship is that they're very disconnected. They're stuck in their head. And it's like they have no connection to their body and they're rushing around consumed by thoughts with a chaotic mind. So they're very busy in their business or career. Maybe they've got their own family. Maybe they want to actually be in a relationship. But because they feel so disconnected, they're not really understanding or connected with how they really feel. And when it comes to meeting a guy, because they're connecting from like this level, they can't identify who their Mr. Right is. And they end up rushing things because they're so involved in their head. And so that's the reason why I'm talking to Granville today. And Granville will go more into his practice. He's a yoga teacher for over 50 years. And I've known Granville for over 20 years, but I'm not going to give my age away.
Practitioner for 50 years.
Practitioner of yoga for 50 years. So, he's got a lot of experience. And so with my clients, with the women who come to see me, the work that we do together is about connecting their mind to their heart, to their body. So they become more grounded, feel more relaxed. And then when they're meeting people, especially when they're meeting guys that, hi, say where you are and who you are. So and obviously interact with us and share the video. You can ask us any questions, especially Granville. This is his area of expertise. So, what I'm really what my clients to focus on is dropping from their mind into their heart, because we're talking about love. And when you want to connect with someone, you want to feel love. And it takes courage also to step outside of your comfort zone, to want to connect with people, to want to connect with your special guy. And then drop further down into your body so you're really connected, not disconnected. We're living in a very busy world. And I know, we're on our phones, we're on our iPods, we're on our computers. We're traveling here, there, everywhere, rushing around, busy. And so yoga is a way that we can connect to ourselves, to our body, and connect with people from that place. Because that, to me, is what's really missing in our modern world. So, Granville, with 50 years of yoga practice, can you talk a little bit about, in the most simplest terms, what yoga actually is?
Yeah. Well, the way yoga has kind of come to the West now, it's very much based on a fitness approach. And through working with the body, then we actually connect with the body more, become more mindful. Mindfulness means being aware in the present moment. Yes. So if we are very caught up in our minds, in our heads, and particularly carrying situations that may have happened previously in our lives, then we're not really interacting with new situations that are happening at the present moment, which may not have anything to do with previous experiences. So by taking a mindful approach, which yoga is the actual vehicle of how to do that, then we can disconnect from previous experiences and start to reform new channels of connection, and then basically it's like the experience then it has a newness about it. Now the way we do that is through becoming aware and very sensitive to where the body works. So if we look at yoga as just an exercise system, then it is that as well, but because we're concentrating inside and being very, very sensitive to the way the body works, to what's happening with the mind whilst we're working, then we start to see what we call the habit patterns that basically keep us away from new experience. So in my from the way I teach, I like to waken people up to what's happening now in the body and everything, keep the mind active, keep it aware, and then we can kind of dissolve away the past and welcome in the new.
Ah, I love that. I love that. I particularly loved what you said, Granville, about becoming present. And that's the one thing I've experienced for myself, because I started with Granville yoga over 20 years ago. And with the mind, it can be just busy, can be all over the place. And so when we come back into our bodies will bring us present. Mm-hmm. It will bring us present. And it's for me, from how I describe yoga, for me, it's yoga's a meditation. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's correct. And the way kind of meditation works is we need to have this kind of this momentary awareness, every moment's awareness. So the way I look at it is I like to practice in silence, and also students who come to my class, they notice that I'm probably one of the few teachers that doesn't have any kind of music or whatever on in my class, because I want people to be completely in the moment with what's happening and not distracted in any way. It might be difficult at first, but then eventually we start to appreciate and start to like it. We start to enjoy what's going on in our own minds. I mean, why be afraid of it anyway? You know,
yes,
it's there,
true.
it's part of us. And also with kind of being very, very focused with what's happening in our own minds, then the opportunity is there to look at it,
yes.
and then also to deal with it in an appropriate way. That's where we need to be skillful and then take appropriate action to deal with these things.
Yeah, exactly. Because once you kind of get to that place where you said in silence, you know, the mind can then just go crazy and get even louder.
Yeah.
But because there's a period of time where you're connected to your body, you're hearing your thoughts in a clearer way, you can actually really get to understand yourself and know what's going on more.
Yeah, that's the whole point. And it's not something to be afraid of as well, because you know, when we first of all start looking inside, very often we don't do that because there's so many distractions in life.
Yeah.
Television, shopping, all the rest of it. All these things are distractions that basically turn us away from looking inside, and we're always sort of projecting our attention outside. Yeah. So when we start to notice what's going on there, it can seem a little bit daunting, but have no fear. Because you're in an environment, or you're more likely to be in an environment with other people, and they're not so much concerned with what's happening in your life, they're more concerned with what's happening in their lives. So it's a very safe environment in order to explore and to uncover the more kind of deeper levels of ourselves with other people. There's no competition, you know.
So can you say some more about how the yoga can heal the heart? I mean, so when people have come there, you know, everyone goes to yoga for different reasons, and outside of fitness, wanting to get fit, how can it help heal your heart?
So maybe when someone comes to class, they have some kind of issue they want to resolve. Maybe they may not disclose that to me, but during the process of a lesson or a few lessons, eventually they start to become more sensitive to their emotional environment inside. And then emotional kind of situations would arise for that person. Now, we can we can take some kind of distractive method, you know, and not really look at it, or we can decide to stay with it, and through our practice with a quiet environment start to investigate what is the nature of these
Hi, Zoe.
emotional...
Hi. Go on, sorry.
So what is the nature of these emotional kind of disturbances, and how can I really address them and bring about a healing? So the first thing is to be aware and to acknowledge, and not to turn your back on it and to kind of push it under the rug, because the longer we don't address these things, they don't get sorted out, and they will always have an impact on how we go forward in the future. So
how does... Okay, let's focus on the breath. And so if someone's at the yoga and they're going through something that's emotional, because I know even like with my brother, for example, he's a massage therapist, and there's been times when he's massaged some women and they've burst out into tears because they've touched on emotions. So if someone's at your class and they're feeling emotional, and I know you might not know what they're going through in that moment, but how does the breath help for a start?
Yeah, what happens when with our breathing, although I don't sort of necessarily work directly with the breath is an anchor. So if we start to lose our grounding, our feeling of security, then by having an anchor, say like the breath is always with us as long as we breathe, as long as we're alive. We've got the breath as an anchor. It keeps us in the present moment. Yeah. So rather than go off on some kind of a reverie and then we kind of go into our story about how we've got to be where we are, then the breath kind of brings us back. So by having that constant reminder, it keeps us in the present moment and able to deal with the situations that are arising for us. Without the anchor, we're more likely to kind of be ungrounded and kind of not have that, how can we say, that present moment, the mind that can stay in the present moment to deal with things. And then, because of that kind of lack of attention, we might then take a course of action that may not be the best course of action, because when we work from, say, emotions or from an unstable mindset, then we're more likely to make bad choices. So there's like developing that daily what we call a formal practice, where we may not be actually even going through something, so that if we do actually confront some kind of disturbing situation, we're well practiced through our daily regular practice of how to deal with it. So regular practice is very, very important. So we're not saying that you can only come to class because you've got some trauma going on. Practice now while you've got the opportunity, and because something might happen, and then because we're not skilled, we haven't got the kind of the calmness to deal with it.
And so what about outside of the breath, the postures that we use? There's a sequence that we use to some yoga practices, and I know you've got your yoga sana.
Yeah.
How does that help with helping people to connect with their heart and their bodies?
Different styles of yoga emphasise different ways of practice, and I've trained in quite a number of styles. But they've all got one kind of thing in common. Again, it's to keep yourself present rather than letting your mind drift away. So in my classes, we learn set sequences that they don't vary too much. But the advantage of that is that you can then really focus inside on any kind of changes that's happening. If your practice is forever changing and forever, it's not like a consistent thing, then we're more concerned in the variety of things rather than getting to some level of, okay, this is familiar, and then let's see what arises in its own way. So that's the advantage of doing like you can call sequential practices or patterns, because then the patterns eventually become I wouldn't say almost kind of second nature. We then freeze our attention to look at more what's arising in its own way, if that makes sense.
So that's the thing. That's what I learnt for myself with yoga, especially now with such busy lives, is that it challenges us to connect with what is happening in the moment without the distraction. And so, no matter what you want to achieve in life, no matter what you want to create in your life, it does take a high level of self-awareness to know your own self and to know whatever the right path is for you. And when you're connected with yourself, you're going to stay true to yourself instead of being, like a ship on the sea and it's a rocky sea and you're all over the place. What yoga can do, from my understanding and my own experience, is like bring you back home. And I love that phrase about bringing you back home to the present moment. Yeah,
very true. And also, I think it's good to bear in mind that a situation that might be unfriendly to you could be a very friendly situation for somebody else. Because someone or your situation isn't working out, it doesn't mean that's similar. Somebody else might have a relationship to that person or whatever, and they don't relate to them in the same way. So we really need to look at our own motivation, what's happening for us, and then not project our, say, misfortune onto somebody else. And that's where the work is, you see.
So I like
that's
that.
the healing.
Yeah, in terms of it's what just like flashed into my mind then was that it connects you with your own truth.
With your own
Completely
truth,
with your own truth. And it can stop you from projecting. Say, for example, if you're going through some kind of emotional turmoil and you're connected with that, you can actually own it, which is sometimes feels painful. But the great thing about that is that you can actually do something about it.
That's the thing.
So instead of trying to have somebody else change themselves in order to make you happy, there may be some internal work for you to do to make yourself happy. So when you're connected to the body, your heart, your belly, your legs, all parts of your body, it's kind of, well, what actually works for me? What fits for me? What feels good? And when you understand that, that is the way you can start healing and healing your heart, which is the topic for today.
Yeah, so first of all, make friends with yourself.
Oh, I love that. Make friends with yourself. I love that. Yeah.
And then, because very often we are very judgmental.
Yeah, very hard on ourselves.
We look at other people and think, oh, they're okay, and there's not, they haven't got any issues or whatever. But then we forget to actually turn the spotlight of compassion onto ourselves. Yeah. So by actually forgiving ourselves, having that capacity to say, okay, look and owning our own kind of shortcomings without, beating ourselves up, so to speak.
Yes.
And then from there, as we change and be more compassionate, more soft-natured towards our own situation, then we're more likely to be like that with others, and that's how a change can really happen.
Wonderful. So, what would your final thoughts be, Granville, to those who are watching and who are interested in yoga? Maybe they've never done it before, or even do yoga, and focusing on about healing your heart.
Yeah, there's so many different styles of yoga around now, and have a look around and see what you like to practice. Don't kind of practice something because somebody just says this is the best thing. Have a look around and find something that you're content with. And as you get more experience, you can become a little bit more discerning and find out what you're really looking for. So there's such a variety out there now. I do quite a variety. I do hot yoga classes. I do lots of classes where they tend into detail. I also do one-to-one personal tuition. So have a look and then see which kind of responds, what responds for you, what speaks to you, and then take your time with it, and go into it with a frame of mind, that this can actually, it's a possibility. It might change your life and give you another perspective on life. Yeah. It can really sort of send you in a new direction. And remember that you're in the same boat as lots of other people. And it is an age. It's a new age. It's an age of discovery. You can see now we can learn things very, very quickly through the internet. Now communication is very, very quick. So learning and habit patterns can be changed very, very quickly. But a word of caution. Look at the credentials of your teachers. Yeah, because you want solid and sound advice in your journey.
Okay, fantastic. So, if you're struggling, with your mind, you've got really busy thoughts, racing thoughts, and I know we live in a world, in an age where technology, which is the wonderful Facebook, the great things about it, we can connect with more people, but there's also distractions, and there's just 1,001 distractions. Never mind the relationships you have with your friends and your family. Most importantly, the one with yourself. And so with yoga, it can help with that busy mind. It can just let it just drop and sink into your heart, into your body, so you become more connected. You're also giving yourself the opportunity to have space and time just for you and to slow down. We have a tendency to rush. We've got to be here, there and everywhere. But in the work that I do with the single women who are looking for love, it's always about just slowing down. Let's just see what's going on in the mind, and then what's going on in your heart, and making sure the two are connected. And so please get in touch with yoga. Granville's yoga sauna is amazing, and he's a tough teacher. He's one of the toughest teachers out there. But we're talking 50 years of practice. He takes no prisoners. So my name is Andrea, and I'm known as the Fearless Love Coach. I show strong, sassy, successful women how to love without fear, to attract and keep their Mr. Right. And of course, this has been Granville Cousins, who's an incredible yoga teacher and an incredible man and person and a great friend. Okay, well. And I just want to thank you for joining us today, and for those who's joined us. And bye, everyone. Take care and see you again. Bye.
Thank you all. Bye.